Morning, January 13th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for an exclusive forum featuring the candidates for LA County District Attorney. Join KBLA's Tavis Smiley as he helps navigate what promises to be a forum full of fire when the candidates trying to unseat current LADA George Gascon come together on stage on the campus of the Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science. Again, it's the LA County District Attorney Forum, live, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580, Saturday morning, January 13th, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Helping to raise your civic IQ. We're KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You ready?
Come on! It's the Queen of Royal Badness.
It's time for the Raw Report with Robin Ayers.
Highlighting people and things you should know about.
Robin's got you covered. Follow Robin at Robin Ayers. You're listening to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Robin's got a lot to talk about.
Good evening, and happy Thursday, KBLA family. How y'all doing out there? Here we are, day 4 into 2024, and I'm just trying to tell y'all, life is lifing indeed. Special hello to those of you in the thick of drive home traffic, for sure. Hang in there. We are here to keep you company and to help you power through the honking horns, abrupt stops, and unexpected detours. And for those of you who are still at work or who've already made it home safely, I invite you to buckle up and go for the ride with us tonight as well. Indeed, we have a lot to talk about. We have a great conversation in store for you. I am Mischa Duffie. I host an amazing show called The Backstory with Mischa Duffie every Saturday from 1 to 2 right here on KBLA Talk 1580. However, for the rest of this week and next week, in addition to hosting my show, I have the distinct honor of guest hosting the Raw Report for my colleague and my friend, Robin Ayers. Listen, let's start off with some trending topics here. If you all are paying attention or have been paying attention, I dipped my head in a little bit just to bring you up to speed on what's happening in the world. A moment ago, I said life is life, and indeed it is. Bill Clinton and Donald Trump are two of the notable names listed in the Epstein sex scandal papers that were released. No surprise there, right? Firefighters were called to the $6.9 million mansion of Miami Dolphins receiver Tyreek Hill after one of his children accidentally caused a fire. I like this story. A Burger King worker who didn't miss a day of work in 27 years bought a home with crowdfunding. Isn't that sweet, amazing, beautiful? And then I also like this one because you know what? I love when we stand up for ourselves. Also trending is a black teen is fighting back his Texas school suspension for his hair. And his position is, why should he have to cut his hair? I'm right there with him, right? Like, what are we doing? Has his school district or school have they not heard of the Crown Act? Anyway, those are some of the trending topics, but the topic I want to talk about tonight is I want to start with the Kevin Hart and the Chris Rock Netflix special. It's called Headliners Only. And I want to roll that into the conversation of Cat Williams and him setting the internet ablaze with his 2-hour conversation on Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay podcast on yesterday. I want to talk about was Cat Williams wrong for blasting all of the people he blasted out, which included Cedric the Entertainer, Ricky Smiley, Steve Harvey, Kevin Hart. He just went on and on. I want to talk about how far is too far, right? And then because of what he professes or because of the allegation he makes, I want to ask the question, is or should comedian scripts be proprietary, right? So that's some of where we're going. Andy, do we have our contributor on the phone? Wonderful. Well, I am pleased to welcome tonight our guest contributor, Shani
Hi, how are
Cheyenne.
you?
Okay, Cheyenne.
Hi, Shay. Yes, Cheyenne. How are
Cheyenne,
you?
how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are
Wonderful.
you?
I am fantastic. And forgive me for mispronouncing your name because mine
Oh, it
gets
is okay.
mispronounced all the time. So it's Cheyenne. We're going to get this right
Yes,
now.
I would have mispronounced yours too. It's okay, but your producer gave me how to pronounce it, so that's how I had it.
Well, wonderful. Thank you for bringing your beautiful smile and beautiful energy into the conversation. I so appreciate it. I feel you already. Thank
Of
you for
course.
that. So, again, I want to start off. I don't know, Cheyenne, if you've had an opportunity to see the Netflix special. I watched it over the holiday with Kevin Hart and Chris
Mhm.
Rock, right? And
Yes.
they say it's like a back in the day. Chris Rock is the mentor of Kevin Hart. Kevin really admires Chris. He loves him. He has professed publicly that Chris Rock was very instrumental in him becoming a comedian and getting his start and just becoming who he is. So they did this special together and it's really good. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, and honestly, before I've heard of the special, but before that, I didn't even know that they had this long-standing relationship. And I love Kevin Hart. I'm from Philly, but I never knew, so I have to watch it, but I didn't get a chance to yet.
Yeah, like you. I love Kevin Hart as well. And here's why I love the special, Cheyenne. I love it because Kevin does a wonderful job of giving Chris Rock his props, right? He does a wonderful job of just lifting him and letting him know how much he respects him and loves him and how influential he's been in his career. And he just goes
Mhm.
out of his way to let Chris Rock know how he feels. Now, Chris Rock returns the favor and kind of is like, man, listen, this ain't just about me. This is also about you. And then throughout the special, they have different comedians coming in talking about just their love for each other, their respect for each other, also their respect for Kevin and Chris Rock. And they talk about how hard Kevin has worked, how hard Chris has worked. And it's just a really
I love
beautiful,
that.
yeah, it's a really beautiful exchange of honor, right? And people giving each other
Mhm.
their props.
Mhm.
So I love that. I want to encourage you all to watch it if you have not, because I like stuff to just make me feel good. And the
Yeah.
energy between the two of them makes me feel really, really good. Now, that takes me into the girl, the Cat Williams story, right? And I was
Mhm.
juxtaposing Cheyenne the two, right? I'm
Yes.
considering this special, and then I'm juxtaposing what Cat Williams did. Have you had an opportunity to see any of that,
I did. Yep,
girl?
I watched the whole. It was long. I watched it yesterday. Luckily, I was off, so yes, I watched it.
Okay, so look, you can even fill in more than I can because I didn't watch all 2 hours of it, but I did. I kept going and I was in and out of different segments of it. What's your takeaway?
It.
Not
It's
so much
so
takeaway.
hard.
That's
I
not the
feel.
question. What are your thoughts? That's what I want to go with.
I honestly, I feel so torn on it. But like simply put, I don't think that Cat Williams was wrong, because we all have a right to express ourselves. Just you got to be ready for the repercussions. And it seems like Cat Williams is ready and he's always been ready for the consequences and doesn't care. But I just think that, like you said, just comparing it to, all of the flowers that are being shown and shared in the Kevin Hart and Chris Rock special, it's like, there is definitely a stark difference. But these, like when I watched, and, now there's like all of these clips coming up of what people said about Cat Williams. These are people who have spoken on him. So if someone can talk about you, you have the right to also speak on them also. Like, listen, even Kevin Hart, I said he's from Philly. I love him. I ride for him. But Kevin, he definitely was, on the radio talking about Cat's business, talking about him doing drugs, talking about why he's blacklisted from the industry. So it's like, if you talking about somebody, then just be ready for them to talk back to you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, You make a wonderful point. And here's the thing. Cat was not playing with them. He came girl, he didn't just come with the stuff. He also, as they say, he came with receipts. You know, he came with proof. He came with, let me tell you how this really, really went down. And I just was wondering, like, you know, in particular, when he talks about, what's his name? Oh my God. Cedric the Entertainer. He just goes so hard, right? He talks about him stealing his stuff, and he talks about him not being as funny as him. And the thing that got me was he said, you know, we call him Cedric the Entertainer because we thought he could sing, dance, and tell jokes, and turns out he can't do any of them. So he's not much of an entertainer. And I was like, wow, talk about hitting below the belt.
Wow. Well, because I think that, like, with comedians, there's one thing because about being just like a hard-hitting comedian to where you just are good at telling jokes to when you are a personality. And I think sometimes in Hollywood, people that are more so like a Kevin Hart who, you know, it's debatable and people, if they find him funny, but he's very marketable, is very different. So, like, if Cat Williams is talking about who can really tell the jokes and things like that, that's a whole different level than, like, who may make the most money, who may have the bigger career, who may get on Netflix, because a lot of that has to deal with who is, you know, palatable to a larger audience.
Yeah, for sure.
But the Cedric the Entertainer, I was very shocked by that because, I mean, you know, the talk of plagiarism is going on right now, and like, I feel like something like that is almost like, you know, me as a journalist, someone stealing my script or someone, you know, stealing someone's song. Like, the fact that people steal each other's jokes, I was just like, that is crazy, because that you're not funny, you're taking someone else's funny. So I thought that was definitely very
or at least trying to take their funny, because according to Cat Williams, even if you steal my stuff, you're not going to be as funny as me because I wrote it, right? When we come forward, myself and Cheyenne will continue our conversation about Cat Williams and him setting the internet ablaze with his conversation with Shannon Sharpe. We're going to talk about, did he go too far? And my big question is, should comedian scripts be proprietary? This is KBLA Talk 1580.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Denzel Whitaker, and I'm on the Raw Report.
You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
On Friday, January 12th, as we head into Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. annual holiday weekend, KBLA Talk 1580 will announce a historic climate justice campaign aimed at California communities of color. KBLA Talk 1580 is joined in this historic effort by both public and private partners, including LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, Cal and Dow, the Sierra Club, and many other partners. There's a clear connection between Dr. King's moral conscience on the notion of reverence for all human life and the future of our world house. This year, on the MLK holiday weekend, KBLA assigns itself the task of elevating the climate conversation by amplifying the voices of those who are most impacted by the climate catastrophes we are witnessing in real time. Stay tuned for more details. At KBLA Talk 1580, Climate is king.
With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
There are many things to love about winter. Cozy sweaters, celebrations, and family time. But winter can also bring many stressors, extra expenses, seasonal bugs, and so much family time. If you and your loved ones are feeling stressed or anxious this winter, CalHope can help. Check out our free mental health resource at calhope.org today.
New year, new me was going to be my 2024 shopping mantra until I realized how expensive that mantra was. Luckily, Kohl's is having their biggest clearance event of the season, and I saved up to 70% on so many great finds, like a warm fleece, cozy PJs, cute jeans, gorgeous dresses, and so much more. So don't wait. Hurry and get your new look for low prices in a limited time. Get to Kohl's. Select styles up to 70% offer ends January 21st. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Oh, this cold.
Honey?
Honey?
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste, because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
No, I'm getting a cold.
Honey.
Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news.
You're inside the Raw
Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Indeed, you are inside the Raw Report. I am Mischa Duffie, holding the seat warm for Robin Ayers. Honored to be here. Good evening to our good folk in the chat. Fahima in Houston, Texas, welcome. Thankful for your presence there. Listen, Cheyenne, Andy just made me think of something. I didn't think of it. I shouldn't even say that. He just brought up a point to me. He was talking about, kind of looking at this through the lens of Cat Williams and why he was blackballed. And because my question coming back into this segment was going to be, do you think he went too far? And I wonder why now. When these kinds of things happen, I always wonder, like, why now, right? If this didn't just happen yesterday, why are we just talking about it? But Andy brought up the point about, there's a reason that Cat Williams was blackballed. And one of the things he says in his ranting is his goal coming into Hollywood was to, I can't even say it on the air. His goal was to not be violated sexually and to not compromise his manhood and to hold on to himself. And he made it clear that he wanted to walk away as a whole man. And for those of you who aren't reading between the lines, what's his name? Actor Christian Keys talked about how there were 2 billionaires. He alleges that there are 2 billionaires who came for him in an inappropriate way. And one of the reasons he has had to say no to a lot of things is because a penis was attached to the money that was being offered to him.
Yep.
So Cheyenne, like, what the heck is going on in Hollywood?
I believe it at 110% because even just a little bit, being in the entertainment, you just know that things really can get dark in that area. And I feel like there is definitely a reason why he's coming out now. I'm really not sure. I do feel like this is also the era, and he said this in the interview, of like just people getting exposed for their ways. So who knows? There could be something behind the scenes. And watching the full 2 hours, Cat Williams, he only went on there to expose these things.
Yes.
Because when Shan started talking about, what's your upbringing, what's your other thing, Cat was looking at him like, I'm not here for this.
Exactly. Like what is that about? Exactly. It was almost like he was offended. Like, bro, come on now. We're not doing that.
Exactly. He's like, I came here for one thing, and that is to expose Hollywood. So when I don't think that he took it too far, but also I don't know if everything he was saying was true, because now you're seeing people come out. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was true at all. And at the end of the day, if that's his truth, that's his truth. And I do know that there are a lot of people who do something strange for a little bit, of change.
A little bit of change,
I do know that's a thing. It is a thing.
Yeah. And I guess, what this also, the conversation this also incites is this idea of holding on to your integrity, not willing to sell yourself out for a script or a part or some money, whatever that may be. And at the end of the day, you do want to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm proud of who I am. I'm grateful that I did not get here by selling my soul. And I just think it's sad.
I think so too. And then I also am thinking, like, he kept saying that, people say I'm blackballed for not coming up to, pretty much not fulfilling the commitments that he has made. And Cat Williams was like, this is not true at all. I was not blackballed for anything about not being professional, which is something that Kevin Hart went on the radio and said. And sometimes when you have people who are, exposing the truth, people will make it seem like it was their work ethic as to why they are somewhere, and really it was because they were blackballed because they spoke up.
Yeah, for sure. We got Cheyenne. We have Fahima joining the conversation. Good evening,
hey, Fahima.
Hey, lady.
Hey, greetings. Just very briefly, I was on a Twitter space, X space, if you will, that was hosted by Uncle Luke, and there were a number of industry people, and we were talking. This was one of the topics. And from what I understand and garnered from the discussion, Cedric the Entertainer and Cat Williams had resolved this. They had buried the hatchet. But it is suspected that Cat Williams raised this. He's going on tour. So everybody's going to be like, oh, let's go and hear what he's got to say. Let's hear, because, again, everybody's talking about this. Everybody's talking about this. People are on their platforms. They stopped talking about Oprah and Taraji P. Henson, and now this is the new hot topic that influencers are talking about. We're talking about this tonight, right?
Right.
And so I think this may have something to do with it, because one of the other points was made, everybody was waiting with bated breath for Chris Rock to respond to the slap, and he had a sold-out show, and he got a Netflix special in Baltimore. So this is just a PR campaign because everybody's talking about it.
That's an interesting perspective. Go ahead, Andy.
I can see how it could be a PR campaign, but this is on brand with Cat Williams. If you followed his career, he's always exposed stuff about Hollywood or whatnot. So that's why you heard the stuff about him being blackballed or whatnot. So I wasn't quite surprised about everything that he revealed. But like I've been saying for, it seems like the past couple of months or so, the chickens are coming home to roost. He said it. This is the age of truth. And I think people are fed up now.
Well, I agree, Andy, that Cat Williams has been saying things. That's nothing new. He's been saying things, alluding to some of the things that go on in Hollywood and how he has refused to be part of it. However, he is on tour, and I believe he had the interview to promote his tour. Him and Cedric had buried the hatchet around the situation with the joke that was taken. And again, that happened years ago. And why is he bringing it up now? I think it's to promote his tour.
Well, thank you, Miss Fahima. We appreciate your input. Cheyenne, this reminds me, Fahima's comment reminds me of what Jada Pinkett Smith was accused of doing when her book came out, and how she was saying all of these things, right, about her and Will not being together and them living in different whatever. And then you buy the book, and none of the things she was talking about was even in the book. So people were really upset about it, right? So, they spent all this money buying this book thinking that what she said, and it wasn't. And it turned out that was a PR campaign, and that was her effort to get people in the room to buy the books, to hear to read what she had to say. And so what are your thoughts about this being a PR campaign?
I don't know. I'm kind of with Andy. I feel like Cat Williams, he is known for just speaking his mind. I mean, of course, it doesn't hurt with the PR and, going on the road or anything like that. But I'm not fully convinced that was his entire motivation. Like he said, during the interview, he also kept coming at Shan a few times because some of these people have talked about Cat on this same platform, spread possibly lies. So I think he was like, I'm coming here to get the record straight type of thing. So maybe, maybe a little bit of PR, but I think he was more here to protect his name and stand up for himself.
Got you. Now, here's my question. Do you think that scripts, jokes should be proprietary?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That takes a lot of work, like especially when Cat Williams during the interview was talking about writing and, how much goes into that.
Yeah.
And, I know how much goes into writing. You can get brain fog. You got to go away from it, come back. Like that is, you put everything into that. So absolutely, I think so.
Yeah, and I'm a writer. Listen, I've written 24 books. I totally understand how. Yes, Andy, 24. I love it. And I'm a ghostwriter. I'm currently finishing up 2 books that I'm ghostwriting for clients right now. So I do get it. I understand. But I did not know. I'm not very familiar and well-versed with the comedian, the comedic world in terms of whether or not their material is proprietary. This is not the first time I've heard of someone being accused of stealing someone else's jokes. But I wonder, do they go through the whole rigmarole of copywriting and protecting their jokes? So if it comes down to proving beyond your word against mine, do they have what they need?
I have no clue. I would imagine so, but it's starting to seem like not, because I saw a video of Cedric when he was defending himself, and he was like, and people have stolen my jokes too. And when he said that, people were like, hold on, did he just admit that he stole Cat Williams?
Because he said 2. He didn't say, he added the 2 words.
like, hold on now. But it seems like this may be something that's going on.
Wow. And I'm thinking, like, okay, let's really quick, at my third, well, no, we'll talk about that on the other side of news and traffic because it is that time. When we come forward, more about our conversation with all that's happening in the world, particularly around this Cat Williams craziness. I also want to talk about betrayal and disappointment and how we respond to that. And should we even care about this? In the grand scheme of things, everything that's happening in the world, should we even care? This is KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, what's up? It's your girl BB, and you're listening to me on the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of the Raw Report with Robin Ayers when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens was joined by the police chief to announce that the city's crime rate is on the decline. They held a joint news conference to tout what they say is a 15% drop in major crimes against people in 2023. They credit law enforcement working with community leaders as one of the reasons for the change. Dickens, who was black, also noted that homicides are down by 20% compared to this time last year, while rapes have decreased by 50%. New York City is suing Texas charter bus companies for the cost of caring for migrants. The city is seeking more than $700 million to cover housing, food, and healthcare costs for the migrants being moved to the city. It includes costs of migrants currently in the city and those who might be transported in the future. Mayor Eric Adams, who is black, has said more than 33,600 migrants have been transported to the city from Texas. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Hit the brakes over in Santa Ana as an accident is currently blocking the Carter lane of the 5 North at the Main Street Broadway interchange, and watch for a 15-minute slowdown from Culver Drive. Now your overall drive on the 5 North out of Irvine through Villa Park and Orange via the 55 North to the 91 is a little over an hour and 30 minutes. Also, a 35-minute traffic jam is ahead overall on the 5 North from Irvine into Anaheim. And in Fontana, expect a 15-minute traffic jam on the 10 West between Etiwanda Avenue, Valley Boulevard Split, and Central Avenue.
At Mattress Firm's once-a-year sale and clearance, you can save up to 60% on select mattresses. Plus, score a free adjustable base on qualifying purchases. Here's to better sleep in 2024. The right mattress matters, and Mattress Firm will find yours.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
When the Rams and 49ers meet up on Sunday for the final regular season game, the game could be meaningless. Both teams have secured a playoff spot, and both teams are planning to rest key players. The Rams said quarterback Matthew Stafford and running back Kyren Williams will be inactive Sunday. At the moment, the Rams are the number 6 seed in the NFC playoffs. The 49ers are number 1. 4 Rams players have been chosen for the Pro Bowl: Stafford, Williams, defensive end Aaron Donald, and wide receiver Puka Nacua. Linebacker Khalil Mack and wide receiver Keenan Allen are the only Chargers players going to the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl is February 4th in Orlando. 2 very alarming stats from the Lakers' loss to Miami last night. They made only 4 of 30 three-point shots and committed 22 turnovers. If this trend continues, some major changes are on the way. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
I have a dream.
On Friday, January 12th, as we head into Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. annual holiday weekend, KBLA Talk 1580 will announce a historic climate justice campaign aimed at California communities of color. KBLA Talk 1580 is joined in this historic effort by both public and private partners including LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, Cal and Dow, the Sierra Club, and many other partners. There's a clear connection between Dr. King's moral conscience on the notion of reverence for all human life and the future of our world house. This year, on the MLK holiday weekend, KBLA assigns itself the task of elevating the climate conversation by amplifying the voices of those who are most impacted by the climate catastrophes we are witnessing in real time. Stay tuned for more details. At KBLA Talk 1580, Climate is King.
With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
Cover California is a free service from the state that's already helped millions of people like you get and pay for health insurance. With financial help to lower the cost of health coverage, you could get a quality health plan for less than $10 a month. Every plan covers preventive care, doctor visits, emergency care, and more. If you have questions, we're here to help every step of the way. Cover California, this way to health insurance. Enroll by January 31st at coveredca.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles is a nonprofit law firm that protects and advances the rights of the most underserved, leveling the playing field and ensuring that everyone can have access to the justice system. Every year, LAFLA provides free, high-quality legal services to more than 100,000 people living in poverty across greater Los Angeles. Their unique combination of neighborhood offices, self-help centers at courthouses, and domestic violence clinics puts Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles on the front lines in vulnerable communities and at the forefront of change. LAFLA's expert team of attorneys, paralegals, and support staff works to provide direct representation, offer counsel and advice, provide referrals, and educate the community about their legal rights through workshops and seminars. With locations all over LA, you can access their services or volunteer to help no matter where you live. And if you have an urgent issue, call 213-235-0060. That's 213-235-0060. To get legal help, make a donation, or volunteer, visit LAFLA.org. LAFLA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed about what's really going on. Who's got next? And what not to miss in entertainment. You're listening to The Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Thank you for being here with us tonight. Again, to those of you in your car on your way home, I hope our conversation is increasing your patience and your endurance. And for those of you on the chat, listen, Pretty Brown Mimi says, Cat Williams is talented, but all this dragging other comedians is getting old. You also asked the question, so Cedric Cadillac joke in Kings of Comedy was stolen from Cat Williams. Pretty Brown Mimi, we try and sort all of that out. We don't know.
There's proof online, by the way.
Huh?
There's proof online, by the way.
Okay, there we go. Andy said there's proof online. Houston, Texas says, I'm shocked because I always thought that like a book, comedian's material was copyrighted. And Houston, Texas, that's the exact same question I just asked. I was asking, being in conversation with Cheyenne, I was wondering that because I would like to think that they are smart enough to do that. Cheyenne, thank you so much for being here with me tonight. I appreciate you enjoying your energy. And
it was nice speaking with you.
Yeah, and your perspective on all of this. I want to talk now about, this idea of we don't know whether or not that they copyright their information and whether it's proprietary. And in light of that, if they don't, is it their fault? Like if you want copywriting your stuff, I know, Andy, is it your fault that somebody can steal it and use it and maybe even be funnier than you? I mean, are you being irresponsible with your gift?
That is true.
I'm just asking.
I mean, that is one thing. You always have to protect your gift. You always have to protect your gift. But I think it says a lot about someone that's just willing to take it, because
100%.
I don't want something that somebody else is, especially something that's so tailored to you, like your humor.
Yeah. I think that's an excellent point. However, oh gosh, I think it's a little bit irresponsible if they don't. Because now you have nothing with which to fight, right? You have nothing. And if, in fact, because you work so hard, why wouldn't protecting your gift be the thing? But again, I'm thinking about Fantasia. And I think about the clip we heard the other night where she talked about how she was working so hard, but she would go home to try to use her credit card, and she couldn't even get pizza because the people who were working for her were stealing her money. Again,
that's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Like, you have accountants and people that you trust without a shadow of a doubt, and they are betraying your trust the entire time, to the end that after you have used your gift, put your gift out in the world to be a blessing to people, the people who are supposed to be protecting you are not. And so what can we say? What do we say tonight, Cheyenne, about that, about the importance of protecting your investment, protecting yourself, protecting what God has given you? Yes, we are giving it away, but at the same time, we want to make sure, to your point, that people can't steal it.
You have to handle your business. I mean, I feel like that has to be one of the first things you do. And even outside of, just being an artist, if you are starting a business, let's say you just have the name, like, you need to go get that trademark. You need to go get that LLC. And there's so many different places that you can go now, and you can get it done for near close to free. Different nonprofits that will just help you protect yourself. And it's usually very, very inexpensive if it's not free. But, you can lose a lot more money by not having that protection versus how much it is to actually invest in protecting it.
Exactly, because shame on somebody, yes, for stealing it. But what happens if they steal your stuff and they end up making more money off of it than you did? Like,
and that's usually what happens.
Right. Andy, what's your point?
I was just going to say, and I could be wrong because I'm not in the comedy realm or anything like that, but I don't hear too many stories of comics stealing each other's jokes.
Okay.
Right? So I guess, to defend Cat Williams to a degree, I don't think he came into the game thinking that somebody was going to steal his jokes.
But he's been in the game a long time.
At this point, yes, I understand. Maybe on the acting thing, when he's writing scripts, I can understand protecting himself there. But I think, as a youngster, coming from the inner city, doing jokes, he's not thinking about, let me protect my jokes, But I guess this right here is an example moving forward for all comedians now. If you don't want nobody to rip you off, protect your jokes.
And here's the thing, look, note to the wise, as a writer and a publisher, I will tell you, like I tell clients, tell my clients, there's the poor man copyright. As soon as you write your stuff, put it in an envelope, mail it to yourself with a date on it. That way, if it comes down to it, you already have your poor man copyright, and it can be disputed and used in court that you wrote this and when you wrote it, and you can track that again should you have to defend yourself. Cheyenne, I want to ask this question
Sure.
that Pretty Brown Mimi poses. Is Cat Williams dragging other people or exposing other people, is that getting old?
I don't think so. I think that if these people didn't talk about him first, then yeah. But I also feel like people have to respect Cat Williams and who he is. You know, in any type of craft, you should. It doesn't matter if that person is quote unquote, what some people were trying to say, washed up, which he's not. You know, you do have to respect the ones who came before you, and there were a lot of people who came after him or who came up with him that were talking really, really crazy about him. So I don't know if it's getting old. I think that maybe as a collective, they need to, you know, show more of the showing each other flowers, like, you know, that the Chris Rock and Kevin Hart thing was. But, you know, they also, you know, I mean, they both too also do, you know, throw a lot of shade too. So, and I mean, we're also talking about comedians. I mean, their whole thing is busting on one another. I don't know if that's ever really going to stop. And past that, I mean, that's really any industry, especially when you're getting to a lot of money. That's how it is. So I think at this point he got it out. Now, if he continues after this, that's one thing. But at this point he got it out, and I think that I can live with that.
Do you think there was an end game for him? Other than just exposing people, do you think there was an end game for him? Do you think there was something he wanted to happen or come out of this? That was he looking for apologies from any of these people, or he just wanted the world to know this is how it happened and this is how it went down? Because as Andy said, for him it's the age of truth, and I'm telling my truth, and I'm telling it at all costs, and I don't care, you know, who's the casualty here. At the end of the day, this is about truth.
Yeah, I think that, and it seemed like what I think that he was stuck on most, like, yeah, people talking about him and stuff, but it seemed like what he seemed the most bothered about were people talking about his character, kind of. And I think that that's more so what he was focused on, like the things of people saying, like, he really wasn't trustworthy and, you know, didn't show up to things. And I think he was just trying to set the record straight if those things are a lie, because we don't know. We really don't know. And especially the drug stuff. He kept referencing the drug stuff during this interview.
Because he kept saying.
People for years.
No, go ahead.
People for years have been saying that Cat Williams is on drugs.
Right.
People for years. He claims that he hasn't done anything heavy. So
because his thing
were a lie.
His thing was, who among you have caught me using drugs? Who's caught somebody bringing drugs to me? You know, he's just kind of going on and on about, as you said, you all say I use drugs, but who knows for real, because y'all haven't caught me doing anything. But God knows sometimes when you've seen him, particularly in the past, it's like this behavior there has to be something contributing to this, right? He cannot be in his right mind.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, but it's very serious accusations. I do get what he's saying, because unless I have out in the public, especially when they have families, and say that they are doing drugs.
Right.
And that's, for me, it's a very serious statement. So if they didn't see him do it as their fellow comedians, they probably shouldn't have put that out there. Now, if they saw it, that's another thing, because they do party and do things in the open, but if they didn't see it, probably crossed the line.
Go ahead, Andy.
I'm going to bring up the spiritual element that seems to kind of be the underlying thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And the exposure that's going on, because it's not just Cat Williams, right? We talked about Taraji. We talked about Terrence Howard. Look at what's going on with Diddy or whatnot. I mean, I'm looking at this from a spiritual
lens.
lens.
Spiritual lens, unpack that a little bit more for me.
Man, Cat Williams even said, he talked about rituals. You know what I mean? Like, let me just break it down to just the surface level. I'm pretty sure growing up, or even now, you know somebody that would do something crazy for just maybe $20. Or you might have heard somebody get killed because, you know, somebody owes me $50. So imagine what people would do for millions of dollars, right?
Yep.
So yeah, it's not a secret, but of course they don't want to put it out there, right? They don't want to put it out there for the mainstream. Like, this is what's going on. Look at what's going on with Epstein. It's just a lot of wicked stuff.
I'm still trying to. I'm trying to hear the spiritual element of this. Like, I hear everything that you're saying, but talk to me more. You got to help me. Give me some clarity.
I just think that there's wicked actions going behind the scenes in order to receive a certain level of power or a certain level of status. You have to go through it. It's like being a part of a fraternity or whatnot. Hollywood is a fraternity. You're going to have to do some things in order to, get to a certain status.
Really? So are we then suggesting that everybody who has reached a certain level has done some strange things for some change? Is that what we're saying?
You can make the case.
Make the case. Go ahead, Shane.
I think you can make the case, and if they haven't, I think that they've been asked, like a Cat Williams. I think that it's been brought to the table. I do. I do think that it's been brought to the table. And I think that going back on what Andy was saying is that it could just be hey, this is what's going on, and I'm letting people know to get this off. Like he said, I don't really have too much to lose at this point. And that's what it was given to me is like, hey, like some people can't speak out, but I'm kind of crazy enough to do it. I'm in a situation to where I can. So I'm going to speak out and tell you what's going on out here.
Well, I will say this, in my 1 minute before we move forward. When I keep trying to hear Andy's point about the spiritual aspect, and I hear him, Cat Williams, saying, I'm just letting this up and off of me. It reminds me of Christian Keys talking about how he just could not continue anymore with this guilt and this shame. And if it's about anything spiritual, from my perspective, it's about a spiritual cleansing. It's about getting letting this stuff off of you so that you can live in the fullness of who God created you to be. Because what I do know, secrets are heavy. Shame is heavy, right? Anger is heavy, and that stuff will sit and reside in your body and keep you from being everything that God created you to be. Listen, this is the Rob Report. I am Mischa Duffie, sitting in for Robin Ayers. When we come forward, we're going to be talking about disappointment and betrayal and how we can get over things that people do that we don't like or we're not expecting. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, I'm Damian Young. I'm chilling with Robin on the Rob Report.
You're inside the Rob Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
That was another way. I would smoke once an hour. That didn't work either. All that would happen at some point of the day, I would end up doubling up. Other ways that I tried to quit was I stopped buying cigarettes totally. But if I took 3 puffs off of 15 friends, those didn't count because they weren't my cigarettes and they weren't full cigarettes. I went through a lot.
Every attempt is part of your story to quit for good. Visit Kick It California today at kickitca.org.
When you're young, life is full of choices. Don't let opioids like highly addictive and deadly fentanyl take away your life with just one wrong pill. Addiction is a disease that can affect anyone at any age. But there is a choice to get help for this disease. Find medically proven treatment options, including virtual, at choosemat.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Single Moms Planet is a nonprofit organization dedicated to uplifting under-resourced single mom business owners and working mothers nationwide. Single Moms Planet offers comprehensive programs of financial literacy, business development, mentorship, and entrepreneurial training. They provide education, accountability, and hope. Single Moms Planet was founded by model, TV personality, and producer Nefertari Plessy. Nefertiti felt firsthand the challenges that face single moms as she was raised by a working single mother. She learned that the most disadvantaged group in the United States are single mom families. According to the U.S. Census, 30% live under the poverty line. So she decided to do something about it, along with co-founder Cole Patterson. Their goal is to end the poverty cycle in single mother households through education, opportunity, and networking, providing family and child enrichment programs for under-resourced single-parent families. Single Moms Planet serves over 10,000 single moms and their children each year. Studies show that business development and financial literacy provide a positive environment for children and families, exposing them to new possibilities and opportunities. To attend one of their fun events, make a donation, or get more information, or if you need help as a single mom, please visit singlemomsplanet.org. That's singlemomsplanet.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news. You're inside the Rob Report. With Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Indeed, you are. We've been talking about the friendship and the adoration expressed between Kevin Hart and Chris Rock on their new special for Headliners Only. We've also been talking about the chaos of Cat Williams and him exposing folk in Hollywood. Now, I want to talk about something that I believe will leave our hearts in a better place. Andy, could you play the clip, please?
To me, one of the most hurtful things you can experience during your time of human existence is when someone you deeply admire has been having a conversation about you that was less than favorable and demeaning to your character. Without ever reaching out to you to share with you the issue at hand, it can really bruise the heart because it flips your perspective immediately concerning that person. But what I've learned as I grow in God is best not to resolve the issue with toxic, visceral rebuttals or saying something negative about them. The mature thing is to maintain your behavior while simultaneously shifting your heart posture. I love you. I just don't trust you. I won't disrespect you, but I don't respect you. Jesus already knew that Judas had sold him out, but he still demonstrated the same measure of integrity and love toward Judas in spite of his betrayal because he realized his assignment was greater than Judas's character flaws, and
Right
Judas
there.
was still going to be advantageous to Jesus in the long run. In
Right
life,
there, right there. He realized that his assignment was greater than Judas's character flaws. Cheyenne, when I heard that line, I was just like, God, thank you for that. Thank you for that, because what we can't do is control other people. We cannot control what people think of us. We cannot control whether people like us or whether they don't. But we have to be about the business of controlling our response to people. What are your thoughts about the clip and what the gentleman had to say?
That's great, and I think that's great, especially going into a new year and trying to think of ways to stay focused. And I feel like a theme of my life for 2023, and I'm bringing into 2024, is just protecting your peace. Like you said, you can't control everything going on around you. It's completely impossible, but you can control how it impacts you and how it gets you off of your square. So I think that is really one of the main ways that you can, try to stay sane with all of the different things that's honestly going on in the world today.
Yeah. And this idea of what we do with betrayal and disappointment, I think if we figure that out, if we wrap our minds around that more concretely, a lot of us will be a lot better off, because I just personally, Cheyenne, believe that we spend so much time being angry and upset and holding grudges. And we don't know how long Cat Williams has been sitting with these things. We don't know how they have impacted him emotionally, mentally, spiritually. What we do know is he let it all out, and he got to a point where he couldn't hold it anymore. It's almost like, you have a bottle of something or a can of something, you shake it up and then you open it and it just explodes all over the place. Stuff cannot shame, blame. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, and that's what I was saying, as far as did he take it too far? And I'm like, no, he got it out. Now, if he again comes back after, things, it's kind of even now. You got out what you had to say. like, you know, once you let it all out, then it's like move on. You know, sometimes it's just too much time spent on something. And once it's released, you have to just really release it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, I will say this. When I think about when I think about us talking about Hollywood, and if in fact, you know, Andy's, you know, was just sharing how there's a dark side of Hollywood. I imagine that there can be darkness to a whole lot of things, right? When you're talking about upward mobility, and I think you even said that, Cheyenne. We all have to be careful. You have to know what your price is, and you also have to know whether or not you have one, right? And you have to be able to say no to that which doesn't align with your heart, soul, and your spirit. Yes, there are amazing opportunities being offered to us in any given day, but what are you willing to compromise to get it, right? And I think that that's part of the takeaway from this conversation and from what we've been hearing tonight. I also want to remind us to protect your gifts. God has entrusted these gifts to us. Protect them, whether it means copywriting them, whether it means getting an amazing team around you who can protect you and teach you and show you the things that you don't know. Protect your gift at all costs so you're not somewhere sitting around on somebody's podcast being angry and being mad. And then, as the gentleman said in the video, change your posture when you know that somebody has betrayed you. You don't have to curse them out. You don't have to act a fool. All you have to do is stay in integrity. As the guy said, I still love you. I just don't trust you. I don't disrespect you, but I have no respect for you, right? So you ain't got to let folk see the worst side of you because they've shown the worst side of themselves. Cheyenne, I enjoy you. I appreciate you. Love you, sis. Thanks for being here tonight.
No, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful 2024 if I don't talk to you again, okay?
You too.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
All righty. Listen, again, thank you all in the chat. Thank you. Houston, Texas said it was a great show. You all be blessed. Pretty Brown, Mimi, thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Robin, we miss you. We love you. Up next is The Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams. Until tomorrow, listen, stay grateful, stay kind, stay inspired, and stay safe. Good night.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.